This is the grave of John Lont in North Brookfield, New York, and I apologize. Teaching was a little rough on the vocal cords today, so I'm kind of losing my voice. John and his wife raised their two children in West Eaton, New York, and then when they were in their late 60s, for whatever reason, they moved to rent a house on North Brookfield Road, which is today called Alley-Out Road, and it connects North Brookfield and Brookfield. I got into a little bit of trouble with Johnstone. I thought what was showing was all that there was, so while I was waiting for the D2 solution to soak in, which takes about 15 to 20 minutes, I started uncovering the base of the stone to make sure it's level and in good shape still, and turns out, as you can see, that sucker was really buried and was also several hundred pounds. I ended up having to call my little brother to come rescue me. Oops. John was a Civil War vet and was honorably discharged after just 3 months of service for what sounds like being near an explosion, and I'm guessing, but here's why. On his stone, it says that he was part of the light artillery unit, and on his discharge papers, it says that it was because he was wounded to his left side with damage to his left arm and hip and deafness to his ear. By 1900, after the war, at the age of 78, he was still working as a groceryman at the local hotel called Parks Hotel in North Brookfield, which is today called Buck's Inn. He was said to be a very eccentric man who would often walk between neighboring towns instead of taking horses, so when he left one day, his wife, who, by the way, was also completely blind, wasn't that concerned until he still hadn't come back the next day. She frantically tried searching for him, but with no luck, and in a panic, she was eventually able to flag down the North Brookfield stagecoach going by the house and asked the driver to spread word that her husband was missing. Charlie Palmer, who lived down the road and also owned the house that John rented, he promptly arrived and found John dead in the backyard. They called the local doctors and they determined that it was not foul play because John was dead with an axe in his hand and axe marks on the tree next to him and still had his Civil War pension of $25 he'd gotten the day before in his pocket. They determined instead that it was apoplexy that killed him, which is the old term for a stroke. John died April 15th, 1901 at the age of 78. His wife and his kids aren't buried here. Again, I'm guessing maybe because she was completely blind that she moved back in with her kids so they could take care of her. I came back a few days later to epoxy the top of his stone to the base, and I'll show what it looks like about a month after I cleaned it, and hopefully by this time next year, it's back to being bright white again.